Ready.
Hi everyone, Lisa Resnick here with the flight crew. Say hey, Jason and Jim.
Hey guys.
Well,
Hey,
actually a portion of the flight crew, 2 members. There's how many of you guys total?
six guys total.
Well, Jason and I, like we numerically it's a third, but the two of us, we're probably more closer to like half of the flight crew. Of course, I'm joking, guys, if any of the flight crew members are listening. But
We tend to be the ones that don't have a problem doing things. So
Well, thank you very much for joining me here.
Thank
So
you.
I am at my home, of course. Jason, where are you at?
I am down in the basement or the little brew room in my house.
So part of your brew room, is that refrigerator behind you stacked with some delicious beer?
There are 4 kegs of homebrew in there.
Nice. So if you open up the door, does that mess with the temperature of the beer you're brewing? There we go. How cool is that?
Yeah, we're loaded. We're loaded for stay at home here.
So when people talk about stacking up and stocking for measures such as we're in right now, Jason's got his refrigerator stacked of homebrew, so he's good to go. And
prepared.
Jim, where are you at?
I am at Second Harvest Food Bank, kind of helping out in the area of crisis communications and food distribution right now. So I guess I'm in an essential business over here.
Which is awesome, and thank you so much, because it is paramount to make sure that people right now have the ability to have access to food. So
Yeah, it's been a tremendous jump. It's almost a 50% increase in the amount of food that's been distributed out of here. And the community has really stepped up and is helping out tremendously. So it's been great to be part of that and watch. I mean, it's every day people are knocking on the door, bringing in cash donations as well as food and supplies. It's pretty amazing.
and if anybody listening wants to be able to donate to Second Harvest, how could they go about doing that right now?
A number of ways. They could write a check and mail it in. They can also go on the website, and there's actually a way to make a donation on the Facebook page as well. And it's good that you mentioned that, because cash and money is the best thing for the food bank right now, because they're able to distribute $11 worth of food for every $1 that's donated. So they can really multiply the impact of your dollar by getting food from the national and local and regional sources.
That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
And Jason, you are a teacher in addition to brewer, in addition to flight crew member. So how are things going with education? Let's as a parent, this is the opportunity, saying on the other end how things are working out, because I feel horrible for teachers right now.
You know what? It's teachers are a good group, and they've pulled together. I know, at least in Canfield, where your kids are at and my kids are at and I teach at, I think the staff has done a really good job of kind of pulling together on something that's totally unprecedented. I myself and the other history teacher I teach with, we've been online for this. It was pretty seamless for us because our class is already designed to be that way, and that was more out of necessity of copiers and printers not working so much to make materials, so we just decided to create everything online. My hardest part is 4th grade math with my daughter. Trying to figure out how to teach 4th grade math is very, very painstaking for me. My son's in 7th, so he's or 6th grade, he'll be in 7th next year. He's pretty self-sufficient. It's more a matter of just making sure he's not rushed through things and checking, but with my daughter, just sitting down and trying to go through the flow of the math problem and stuff. I'm trying to remember how I did it, and how I did it, it's not how they're taught to do it anymore. And so I can totally see the frustration, especially with elementary school. I think when you get into middle school and there's work and stuff like that, in high school, the kids are pretty self-sufficient to do it on their own.
Yes.
We try and lay stuff out to move them along with videos and activities, and do things kind of lighthearted to keep them focused, but also not stress them out. But with elementary school, I mean, there's got to be a lot of stressors there. I would think when you're a parent at home, and I've got experience teaching with kids, and my wife's a teacher as well. But it can be nerve-wracking trying to sit down there and figure out what the heck the Bridges book is asking them to do, or how do you show them how to do that without leading them astray with the way we were taught. And so it's
good to know that
good.
As a teacher and a parent, that you're experiencing the same issues as parents are going through trying to educate our own children.
Oh yeah, I mean it's Jimmy's fortunately got kids out of the house. I think
Yes.
Yeah.
Brian's got a daughter in 7th grade or 8th grade now. Bella's in 8th grade, and so I'm the only one with like little kids running around still. So yeah, there's some frustrations, but I think everybody's kind of stepped up to do it. I Zoom with my kids 3 days a week, twice a day for anybody who wants to get on. And most of the time it's answering questions about assignment. We sit and talk and play games and socialize that way. We've done Hangman and Mad Libs, and just anything to kind of interact with them and make them feel a little bit normal, make me feel a little bit normal, because I love being in front of my kids, and I'm kind of a big goofball and stuff like that. So it lets me burn off steam without driving my wife nuts.
I think that's absolutely awesome. And if anything, I think that we're all learning how to adapt fairly quickly to what we have available to us, to be able to still be able to socialize and still be able to make any connection that we can with other people, which is awesome, which is pretty cool.
I think I saw a meme today. It said, poor teachers next year when they go in, the kids are like, that's not how my mom showed me how to do it.
I know. I feel part of me is like, what was the other meme of like, what's going to happen in 20 years? The kids that were taught by their parents.
Yeah, the nation's going to be run by kids who were taught by day drinkers.
Yeah, that's it. Speaking of day drinking.
Nice.
Nice.
But I think it comes down to, and like a lot of the industries and stuff like that have really had investments.
My Duncan.
I think education has done really well across the board. I mean, nothing's perfect. I mean, there are going to be frustrating days for us, for parents, for students and stuff like that. But it's important. This is unprecedented. I mean, this has never been heard of. We're an entire educational system in the state or states or even country shut down, and nobody knows, when it's going to go back to normal. But I think everybody's trying to do what's best for everybody else.
Well, it's kind of interesting because, I can do everything I need to do remotely and not going into our office or from home or even here at the food bank. But what's different, it's kind of similar to craft beer. And Jugs, yes, I'm going to bring up the old term Gemütlichkeit. Yes.
What?
It's a German term, Gemütlichkeit.
Gemütlichkeit.
Gemütlichkeit. Yeah, it's
language was
what it is. It was funny because we've learned a ton when we go on brewery reviews, and one brewer taught us of this term. It's like, you love the craft beer, sure, but what you guys really like is that camaraderie, the friendship, the companionship, that warm feeling you get when you get together to drink beer. So that's kind of the term that's used a lot in beer. It's Gemütlichkeit, a German term. But we experience that too, like at work, right? We can conduct a con call, we can do this and that, but it's not nearly the same as actually being together with people and kind of experiencing that fellowship. So that's one thing that I've kind of learned throughout this whole thing is I can do what I need to do, but it's just not as enjoyable.
I agree. And we were talking about that even when it comes to your reviews of your beers right now. I mean, you are solely honed in on taste, more so than the atmosphere of the brewery and that camaraderie, everything that does come along with it makes meals taste better, it makes beverages taste better, is that camaraderie and that experience all inclusive. So, and how that has changed a bit, but you guys are doing pretty good in figuring out how to still stick together and do your reviews, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, and Jason gets all the credit for that because he suggested that we do some Zoom conferences, and a couple of the guys were a little hesitant, and there were a couple of invitations that Jug sent out that we didn't, some people didn't respond to, and but now that we've actually begun to do it, I think we're all kind of enjoying it. I mean, we've done it how many times, Jugs? Like 3 times in the last couple of weeks.
And we did a Facebook live stream with the one the other night.
So
it's been great. I've enjoyed it.
Recently, which ones have you all reviewed recently via Zoom?
So via Zoom, we did RL Lipton, which will be our next Business Journal one. And then we're going to do Esper out of Canton for the Canton Repository.
Okay.
The other night, we just, usually it's about this time, right around the time baseball season kicks off. We kick off, where we go once a week. We rotate around houses. We sit on the back deck. 3 guys bring beer. We eat a snack, and we just kind of enjoy hanging out together and stuff like that. And that, like everything else, got pushed off to the side with social distancing and stuff like that. And we've talked about when it's warmer, just taping off areas in a driveway and kind of shouting across the driveway. But I think the other night it was just like, we gotta like sit and converse and try some beer and kind of hang out and talk and stuff like that, and kind of plan on what we're going to be doing going ahead. So, and then we're going to do Premier. Yeah,
for the mid-May Business Journal is Premier Beverage.
Okay. Yeah. Does anybody live in a cul-de-sac?
No.
No.
We don't have them close to us, but nobody lives in a cul-de-sac.
I mean, they shouldn't be going anywhere if you just set up your chairs.
There you go. We could make that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the beers that we've reviewed from Lipton, Platform out of Cleveland.
Yep.
And Alaskan Brewing, and Kona out of Hawaii, Goose Island.
Oh, wow.
So we've, it was quite a nice little selection that Ed from Lipton let us sample. And Esber has Flying Monkey out of Canada, Anchor Steam out of San Francisco, and Cameron's. So we've had, there's been a lot of unique brands that we've been able to sample with these distributors.
I know Rheingeist isn't too unfamiliar to our area, but what would you say about the Cincy one, Cheetah? Have you guys tried this one yet?
The lager?
You guys are the experts. I read your guys.
I don't know what Cheetah is. I don't think I've had Cheetah, to be honest.
Yeah, Cheetah's pretty good. It's a real good, crisp, clean, easy, everyday drinker right there.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Rheingeist overall. Yeah, exactly. I'm a big fan of Rheingeist, and I was telling you earlier, Lisa, that I've been there many times. Love the atmosphere. It's the old 1880s Christian Moorline building. So it's kind of got the modern equipment, but yet an old 1800s factory kind of a feel with the brick walls and everything. They've got a rooftop bar there. It's a really cool environment.
That does sound really cool. And I love the whole aesthetics that are happening now with a lot of different breweries, as well as just shops in general, that you'll go in and they maintain so much of the original aesthetics of the building. Mm-hmm. They just update the electric and plumbing, of course. But other than that, they try to keep the exposed brick walls. The ceilings, they'll even open up, and it's pretty cool when you go into those atmospheres.
See, I think modern methods when you're talking like that.
I know. I love that.
We were all invited out when they had their investors meeting, 2.5 years ago or something like that.
Yeah.
They just finished doing like the soda blasting, but there was really nothing in that building. And it was, you were stepping on stuff, walking around the floors, and the walls needed to be redone and stuff. But, Adam and that group out there's done a really nice job of keeping that aesthetic look of it and kind of incorporating that building into the brewery, as opposed to just putting a brewery in a building.
And which is so cool, even your lead up to it, like going through Dave Grohl Alley, it's like a full-on experience before you even enter into the brewery, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the more unique ones as far as just going into the brewery.
However, and I lost this bet because I thought there was that one brewery that did close that was downtown, Youngstown.
Westboro or the Off the rails.
Off the rails.
Oh,
And that's where I lost the bet, because I was like, I don't think every brewery, I made the bet that not all breweries have Edison bulbs.
oh.
And I said off the rails, I don't think that they have Edison bulbs. And I did lose that bet. And I had been there. I just never noticed them before. But now anytime I go into any place, I notice the Edison bulbs.
And they're really cool.
They are really cool.
I love them.
You can understand why they're so popular right now.
Yeah, definitely.
So with everything happening, I know everybody's lifestyles changed. Jim, I know you have older kids.
Yeah.
And
I do.
Jason, yours are young like mine.
Mhm.
So we have spring break coming up, which I'm actually excited about. I'm looking forward to not having an argument with my child for at least 5 days of whether or not they did their work.
Right.
And actually spent the proper amount of time doing their work. So do you guys have any plans for spring break, or?
No, we don't have any plans. We've got nothing. It's going to be like a regular week for us, because nobody's getting time off, no vacation, nothing like that. So we're just going to be kind of continuing on. So
I am edging and putting new stone down in the beds. That's about it. That's my big plan.
Wow, that's a lot of work. It's supposed to be cold next week too, Jason.
Well, I mean, I got to look at the weather, but I'd rather be cold than being hot moving stone, though.
That's true. That's a valid point.
A little more comfort, but I got to look and see and plan some things out. But that's what I would like to do, would be able to edge, because then I think with, it being nice last weekend and stuff, we did a lot of outside work. I think we were outside Friday afternoon, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, finished up a few things on Monday, but it was nice to get out and kind of do a lot of the yard work that you're trying to figure out times to make, because you're always so busy running and doing this and doing that, to where you actually have like, wow, we got a whole day. We have nothing that we have to accomplish, but we can work outside and, end of the day sitting by the fire pit and enjoying that. And
I cannot wait. I think that once we have a bit warmer weather, this social distancing is going to be so much easier, just because the ability to get outside on a more regular basis.
well, I like even in our street, I see I see neighbors I've never seen before out walking.
Everybody says
yeah,
that.
that's true.
It's
Yeah.
not, you start seeing people and saying hi, and like, oh, I don't even know who that is, in the neighborhood. And you see a lot of that. You see a lot of people walking their dogs, and I see more kids riding bikes, and like even the high schoolers are out riding their bikes now, as opposed to getting in a car and driving somewhere. So I think it's kind of nice. You see a lot more. You get to kind of get back to knowing your neighbors a little bit. I guess the time before, you didn't have the cars and the AC, and the front porch was kind of like the big place to be in America. And, the early 1900s again, to a certain degree, just because everybody's out and being a little more, they're distant, but they're being more social. You're talking to people that you don't normally talk to, standing in your front yard, they're walking in the street or whatever. So I think it's kind of nice.
It is nice. It is nice to take a step back from how busy we constantly always are, to enjoy and appreciate those moments with our neighbors and our community. And which, I mean, you guys are great with community and your connections that you guys make to begin with. I mean, everything that you do to help strengthen different organizations and everything like that. I mean, you don't solely focus on Second Harvest Food Bank. You spread the wealth of your ability to be able to do whatever you can to help out other organizations, which is phenomenal.
Well, I think it's what kind of drew us into it. I mean, we're very fortunate that we've been able to become a part of this craft beer community in the area. And, all the breweries we have around here are phenomenal. All the people are phenomenal. And so I think we feel lucky to do that. And I think it's Mad Tree's slogan that, beer builds community. And you just see that. And so we like to be able to be involved in things that we can be involved in and give back. And, we're just 6 guys that kind of lucked into doing what we're doing, but, we know that. I mean, we're humble about that. And we want to make sure that we can, be somewhat positive for the community and, use whatever connections or, access we have to organizations or breweries or whatever to help try and give back and strengthen some things.
And then
Yeah, Jason's done some great work for the Joni Abdu Breast Cancer Center. Starting the Blueberry Outstanding Oatmeal Breakfast Stout beer, and then having the big fundraiser booth at Birdfish. And unfortunately, last week was supposed to be a flight crew tips for a cause at Noble Creature on National Beer Day, but that kind of got canceled. But yeah, we do a lot. We try to give back to the community, and I think we all enjoy doing that. I mean, it's we've been kind of welcomed into the craft beer community, and they kind of have come along with us to help out charities, and I think it's just another extension of that kinship, that friendship that we've built.
Which is phenomenal. And everybody who I've met within that community as well, I mean, besides their brilliance and the intellectual level, like we were saying, the scientists and businessmen, everything that they are, it's just, they're still so kind-hearted and so giving. And we do always just need to keep that in consideration, because I know, like I was talking to Jim before you came on, Jason, about how even more so, by the way, important it is to get your knowledge of different beers, because we can't, us consumers, just can't purchase a third of a can and taste it. Yeah. We can't go anywhere to taste it right now. Yeah. So it's really important to get those reviews right now. And while there is an increase in beer consumption and purchases during this time, craft beer, we need to make sure that we are doing our part in making sure that we are purchasing from our local brewers, because it's a bit more difficult for them, because they aren't mass producers. They don't have the canning equipment and everything like that to be able to push mass production out to various different stores. So,
and they don't have the reach, regionally or nationally or whatever to get beer out. Like, Rheingeist does a really good job. I mean, they're, pretty much a national brand, and Great Lakes, and even Royal Docks is one of the fastest growing, breweries in the country. And so they do a nice job of getting stuff out. But none of the locals, I mean, they're all, for the most part, distributing themselves. They're making contacts, they're making phone calls, and they're pushing beer out. I think the nice thing is, they very quickly got on board with doing online ordering. And so all these locals, you can go online, you can pay for it, you can leave tips for the staff, and then you can just go pull up and they'll bring beer out to you. And so that gives you an opportunity. And they're all kind of pushing different things. They're still getting creative. They're coming out with new beers. I think Ira's got some kind of they're going to barrel aged goza they're going to can ferment. Really kind of cool, neat idea that it's coming up. And so I think they're not letting this, they're not falling into hey, let's just do what's easy. They're still trying to push themselves and create new beers for people to love. And so I think it's going to be one heck of a party once we can get out there and hit some of our favorite breweries again. I mean, it's going to be crazy.
Without a doubt. I cannot wait to get back to being able to go to these places and hang out. Like, you just want to hang out. So, and we do need to make sure that we help them continue so they have the ability to open their doors as soon as they can.
Mm-hmm. And I think the community's done a really nice job. I know, like Noble Creature, I went down Sunday and picked up bread and bagels, and then there were 10 cars waiting at noon when they opened to have everybody bring out their food and their beer to them. And so that's good. I know Birdfish is doing a pretty nice job. I see Adam post stuff online all the time. It's a little, lemonade stand kind of idea there at the garage door at Modern Methods. And, I just think all the locals around here are doing a really nice job of, making people feel welcome to go pick up beer or order beer from them and stop, grab a beer. Don't have to interact, don't have to touch anything, can go home.
That's the greatest thing about this too, is that they've been able to figure out a way to do it so you still feel comfortable making the purchase and going to pick up the beer or the bread. Like my husband went to go grab the bagels and bread and beer from Noble Creature 2 last weekend. And he was like very much like your name was on a bag on a table, and because you pre-purchased everything and you just picked it up and were able to go. Like they were like, you said your name, and they pointed from all the way back of the bar. Like I said, that's where you get it. So
I know
there wasn't a concern.
They're sanitizing everything before it goes out the door. They're dipping cans, they're dipping bottles in sanitizer. Then they're wrapping them with a bag and sticking notes on there. This is why your beer cans are wet. You know, they've been sanitized. They're safe. And so I think they've gotten real creative with how they are still getting beer to the customers, but still make the customers feel safe to get the beer.
Yep.
Yeah, we're lucky because it seems like no one is not getting beer out there right now. You see some communities where there's some breweries that just are like totally shut off and they're not distributing, but pretty much everybody in the Mahoning Valley and even into Western PA, they're getting the beer out there, finding a way to make it happen. So that's great for us.
It is great for us, especially when we're stuck at home with our lovely children, trying to teach them. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on, and please thank you, Jason, for everything that you guys do as educators and trying to make sure that our children are still intelligent little adults, if you will, until they're able to go into the following year. And please bear in mind every student that you get next year, who their teachers were at the end of this year.
Well,
go easy on
I think you'll find that every teacher wants your kids back in school as much as you want them back in school. Because we do miss them.
Well, and we miss you guys big time. And for you, Jim, with the Second Harvest Food Bank, thank you so much for continuing on, and thank you for the information. And again, for everyone to go to Second Harvest Food Bank, and you have the ability to donate online because it's $11 feeds how many families?
Every $1
Or
is
$1.
$1 is they can get $11 worth of food, but every dollar is also 6 meals. So if you give a $10 donation, that's 60 meals for hungry people.
And you guys have kept your doors open. And how you were also saying earlier, how many people actually, because Second Harvest Food Bank for everyone is basically like a warehouse, correct? That these other facilities come and they're able to pick up the food to be able to distribute to people that are in need.
Right. And I think I'm not sure of the exact number. It changes almost daily, but typically food is distributed to about 11,000 people a week. And that is at least 50% more right now. So we're talking probably more like 16,000 people a week are getting food assistance through the food bank's member agencies. So a lot of people.
And how many member agencies do you have?
There are 160 member agencies and programs, which those also include the school pantries. So lots of them.
So if you have the ability to be able to help contribute, please do, because it's always important. But right now, I mean, people are just so limited, and especially like their ability to go to school and at least get that 1 to 2 meals a day, depending on the school system. So please make sure that if you can, to contribute.
Thank you. Thanks, Lisa.
Heck yeah. I love my food. I want everybody else to be able to have a meal, and it's extremely important. But thank you guys very much. And I cannot wait to see you guys in person and drink with you guys and maybe take beer school again at Magic Tree. I can't wait to do all that stuff again.
Absolutely.
Same here. Thank you very much, Lisa.
In the meantime, I'll just send you guys screenshots of what I'm drinking.
All right.
Wait, real quick, Jason, what are you drinking?
This is mine. This is a peanut butter coffee stout.
Nice. Jim's just drinking Dunkin' Donuts.
Duncan. Well, and that's another thing. Duncan has been generous in providing donuts, bagels, and coffee for the Ohio Guardsmen that are here at the food bank for the past 3 weeks straight every morning.
Oh, wow.
Wonderful,
That's awesome.
wonderful gesture.
That is a wonderful gesture. That's pretty cool. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Enjoy your weekend. Have a happy Easter.
Thanks.
And
Same to you.
I hope the bunny brings lots of chocolates.
Or beer.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Bye. Take care. Thanks.